No, you know. Attention, please. The estimated time of arrival of any hospital like emergency.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, please? My apologies. My internet went out for a bit.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, I don't know the last thing you heard me say before I got kicked out. Can you still see my screen?
We can't see your screen. We can see you. You can continue from where you assumed you stopped. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll just go straight to here. Yeah, so like I said, we've been able to like expand our reach globally. We have over 100,000 users, and more than half of that have either taken one of our programs or more. And we've grown our revenue to over $100 million ARR over the last couple of years, and it keeps growing, right? Yes, so the question is, how did we do the expansion? The first thing, like I mentioned, is having a product that can scale, a product that people want. We can all agree that education is something that is very, very key to the development of any country around the world. And as individuals, we're always trying to improve ourselves, trying to gain skills, trying to see how we can build our careers. And that's a good place to be as AltSchool, because we're trying to, to meet people where they are, to help them to meet these needs that they have, whether it is for their businesses or for their careers. Also, another thing that made it possible was cash, like money, capital. I mentioned that we were supported by the Rwandan government through their innovation fund. We also have had like a couple of investors, local and international, invest in in Nigeria. I mean, sorry, in AltSchool Africa. Another thing that helped us expand was partnerships, right? Especially when we had to like go to different countries, we had to like expand to different markets. I'll give you a very good example. Beyond Nigeria, we worked with a particular agency in Cabo Verde, which is like Cabo Verde Digital, the agency, the government agency in charge of like digital innovation and transformation in Cabo Verde. And they partnered with us to give some of their youth these skills, like technical skills, through our different programs, right? And that's how we were able to expand, for example, to Cape Verde and gain these different types of users or learners which we're not used to. And you know, with things like this come their own challenges, like language barrier, being able to help with creating like very specific nuances for new audiences, being able to collect payments, for example, in companies like that. Because when we started, right, we started from Nigeria, obviously, but we were able to collect payments in Naira and dollars, right? And so that's one of the challenges that we had when it came to like expanding to other markets. And for the longest time, it was a big challenge because we had people from, I mentioned the companies, the countries that we have like very strong presence: Kenya, Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa. All right. And partnership really helped us to solve some of these problems. For payments, we partnered with a startup called Startbotting, which like enabled payments in different currencies across Africa. So that's like a big thing for us when it comes to like expanding and collecting payments from these people. Also, learner expectations changed. The more you grow, the more you meet different types of people. When we started AltSchool, our initial goal was that we wanted to help, like, we wanted to start from the foundation. What does that mean? we want to say, oh, we wanted to help maybe maybe school leavers, graduates to build their careers from scratch. But as we went along, we learned that the people who actually came to us were graduates already working 9 to 5 hours who wanted to maybe switch careers. Maybe they were working like traditional industries, they wanted to work in tech, or maybe they had like very specific skills that they wanted to just update on, right? And so we needed to like shift the way we thought about our learner experience from what we initially thought we should be to what it was at the time. And we had a lot of issues when it came to, okay, how do we serve these people? Because the truth is that as humans, we're very selfish. And when you give your money to a company, you want them to treat you like an individual. And there lies the problem. As a company that is scaling, you cannot necessarily treat each person one after the other and meet the expectations as individuals. And that's where technology comes in, where you're able to like do personalization and all of that. But all in all, when it comes to like building an entire learning experience, we had to go back to the drawing board and we had to like fix a lot of things. We're no longer a small company that was maybe helping maybe 1,000 people or 5,000 people to gain the skills that they need. We're dealing with thousands and thousands of people from Nairobi, from Cape Verde, from Jamaica, from anywhere in the world, really, right? And so what we did was, first of all, we had to understand the types of people that we were dealing with. So we used to run surveys within our student community to understand, okay, who are these people? What jobs do they do? What type of commitments can they provide to be able to learn the skills that we're giving them, right? And to commit to the different things. Because really, our thoughts at the time was, oh, these people should have time to maybe take these courses. We had like, for example, in the initial days, we had like 2 live classes in a week, right? And we expected these people who were 9 to 5 hours to be showing up for 4 hours every day, twice a week, right? But when we realized that these people that we thought we had, they are not the people that we are serving. We're serving different types of people. We had to reduce the number of live classes. We had to like shift different things here and there to be able to accommodate these people that we have. And over time, we've been able to like improve those processes to ensure that, oh, we were helping people, meeting them where they are and helping them go through the programs the best way that we can, right? And obviously the skills market keeps changing. With the advent of AI in the world, every day you wake up, there's one AI news that's disrupted this industry. There's a new tool, right? And we needed to, because when we started, we had like very beautiful content. We had partnered with subject matter experts around the continent to build these things. But we realized that after 2 years, some of these things were obsolete, right? How do we then keep up with the changes, right? It was a very big shift, and it was, not too easy to move. But what we learned is that we had to like be very iterative. First of all, we had like because our live classes are instructor led, so the instructors had to take on like helping fill these different gaps when it comes to like changes. We also had to start innovating around how we create content and how quickly we could churn them out and all of that. Right? It's still a work in progress because again, AI keeps changing things. We wake up tomorrow now, there's a new tool that maybe we didn't cover in the content that we shot like 3 weeks ago, right? So we needed to keep like reiterating and changing things as we go along. Yes, so some of the challenges faced, okay, there's compliance. Well, there's still a lot of you know um I mean, the jury is still out when it comes to compliance, when it comes to like exporting digital products like ours. But when we are going to each country, each company, country rather, we try to understand the lay of the land, what is required of us, right? And we usually just rely on partnerships, whether we are dealing with like, maybe legal practitioners in those countries to be able to help us ensure that we're compliant with whatever it is that the country requires of us, right? Immigration as well, I mean, and talent, especially when you are building a company like ours, you need very, very competent people. And you know how it is, people are immigrating every day. Somebody is traveling to wherever around the world, and then looking for talents to fill those gaps has been a very huge challenge. But I mean, still a work in progress. And we know that there's still a lot of good talents in the market. It's just looking for ways to find them and selling the vision to them and trying to get them on board and all of that. Yes, what made our expansion possible? I mentioned in partnerships, right? And the different ways that we've partnered with people around the world, within Africa, it's been very interesting because they have literally held our hands as we expanded as a company, right? Whether it is like sponsorship partnerships that we've had like with the likes of Binance and Bybit and Microsoft or wherever, like different companies rather, Sterling Bank as well, or whether they're hiring partners, people who believed in what we did, and they have opted to hire our graduates, right? Because we train these people for 1 year. They go through rigorous activities. They build projects, they do assignments, they write exams. They will cry and say, oh, this thing is too intensive. But we know why we've put these things in place, because we don't want to churn out half-big graduates, right? And so it's a thing of pride for us at AltSchool that big companies in the world, in Africa, in Nigeria, they are taking on aggressive. If you go to Sterling Bank, we went to Sterling Bank some time ago, and there was like I don't think it was Union Bank as well. There was like an entire floor where a lot of them were all school graduates, right? If you go to Sterling Bank, different companies rather, right, around the world, they've hired our graduates, and those people are thriving, right? We've also had like government agencies. I mentioned the Cabo Verde digital, even the Federal Ministry of Communication and Innovation and Digital Economy through the 3MCT program also partnered with us. The UK Tech Hub as well, right? They've supported people to come and take our program because of the belief they have in us. We've expanded and like met the needs of different learners across Nigeria, really around the world as well. We've had communities, different people, different companies, individuals as well. They have held our hands and helped us like expand our offerings across Africa, around the world as well. Yeah, so these are Adewale's points, but I'll try to touch them as much as I can. As a final note, right? AltSchool is proof that digital services are legitimate exportable trade. We've proven it over the past 4 years. We've expanded to over 400 countries. We've reached over 100,000 people. And what we've learned so far is that we need to start with real demand. When we started with AltSchool, we had not built much when we put it out there, and we just created like a waiting list and people filled it out. That was when we knew for sure that this is something people really want. And then we started to build it, right? Because, we started with selling chaos. So we had like a running company, right? And then we thought, oh, this is a good idea for us to build on. How about what about we understand what the market wants before we start to build anything? And yeah, so that's what it was. And we got like an influx of interest from different individuals, even people supporting other people to come and sign up and all of that, right? And the second thing is make it easy for people to pay. This was a challenge that I mentioned earlier, and we were able to just overcome it by partnering with this company. This singular partnership helped us to solve the problem of helping people pay in their local currency. Because when we were doing dollars, people in Ghana were complaining that why am I having to pay in dollars? Oh, in Kenya as well. But because we're able to like fix this problem, it's easier for anyone from all of the current companies of countries and currencies that we have to easily pay in their local currencies and have access to our services. Adapt your service to local needs. Like I mentioned, none of our faculty members or instructors are white people. We have people who are Nigerians who look like us, whether they are working in Nigeria or abroad, come in to teach them what they know based on their expertise. That way they can explain things in our own tongue, using our own local nuances and everything, so that people who are benefiting from the services that we provide, they're able to understand what they're trying to do, and they're able to like implement those things in their own lives and their careers. Create systems and processes that scale from day one. This is a very big thing that we do, especially with our products, right? If you're building something now, even if we have 10 people that are interested in now, we always think about the 1 million people that will use it in the next maybe couple of years. And so it's important because it's so that the product doesn't break when there's more people that you plan for coming in, right? So it's important to build processes from a mindset of skill. The next thing is to partner with local communities when you're expanding. Yes, like I said, when I went to Rwanda, we had the government supporting us and all of that. Kenya as well, we had like partnerships. and different partnerships around, even those that are not even situated in those countries. There are some people who have said, oh, I want to support people, for example, Binance. I want to support learners across Africa except Nigeria, for example, right? Because of that partnership, we're able to reach thousands of people, right, across Africa in different countries that we didn't even have learners from at the time, right? So that partnership is very important. Seeking people who can help you expand to those countries is very, very important. And then lastly, plan for compliance early, just so that you don't get into trouble with the government and it doesn't derail your progress and all of that. It's very important to put all of your books in order from day one. Yes. So I mean, thank you. And if you have questions, I hope I'm able to answer them on behalf of Wally. But yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Titi. Thank you for a very candid and practical perspective. We'll now move into the Q&A segment for the next 10 minutes. Participants, please feel free to share your questions, especially around market entry decisions, scaling challenges, regulatory or payment considerations. I believe we have a heap of questions already. Let's get into the question and answer section. Thank you. So over to you, Titi.
Okay, so when AltSchool started expanding beyond Nigeria, was the first signal that told the model could. Oh yes, I think the first signal was somebody from another country, literally registering. So the way we usually would count this thing is, so for AltSchool, beyond going through the program, the first thing that you have to do for a diploma program is to pay an application fee, right? And so when people opt to pay the application fee, that's one conversion for us. And so when we are looking at the numbers or the data, we see that, oh, somebody, maybe 15 people, 20 people are paying from Nigeria and one person paid from Tanzania. That's a signal that, oh, we can actually do this beyond the borders of this country. So I think that's like the first signal that somebody from another country actually paid application fee. And then from there, we just knew that, oh, there's nothing that could stop us. What were the biggest market entry mistakes you made early on that would warn others? Oh, I think the first thing is not understanding the nuances of a market that you're entering. I think we learned very hard when we tried to do that in Kenya. Because when you are entering a country, and you think, oh, you understand what it's about based on maybe what you know, maybe something you've learned. But if you don't talk to the people in those countries and understand how things work, I'll give you an example. We're trying to, we have at AltSchool, we have like a content creation course that we built with very prominent content creators in Nigeria. And we wanted to do the same thing in Kenya, right? And okay, we had these very lofty ideas. Should be easy, right? But no, that was not the situation. We got to Kenya and we spoke to some people and they were like, see, this thing that people are doing is very nice, but Kenyans would not necessarily want to learn from Nigerian content creators, right? The second thing is that they don't think that the online thing would work. Kenyans want to know that you have like a physical space, right, that they can go to. So all of these nuances, we went there thinking, oh, it's just to create something and then they'll take it or not. That's not the case. So to answer the question, it is understanding that markets are different and understanding those different nuances that separate them, just so that you don't make those mistakes and waste so much time and money doing things that you think are right, and then before you then try to retrace your step when you've learned the real context that you're supposed to learn. How did you adapt also products price? And okay, so for our products, what we did was we said to ourselves, how do we price our products? And for our diploma program, it is $1 a day, right? $1 a day for 30 days is $30. That's 1 month so 1 month of our program is $30. So that was like the reasoning, like, oh, people can actually afford to spend $1 a day, or at least the people we are targeting, $1 a day for 30 days is $30. When it came to doing that beyond Africa. We just did like conversion. So we started with Nigeria, and $1 at the time was, I can't remember the specific, the exchange rate was not so high now. And so when we were thinking about expanding to other countries, we were just doing like the dollar equivalents in each of those countries, and then considering a few things as well before we priced. But essentially, we anchored it on the dollar for those different markets. From a founder's perspective, what mattered more in scaling regional technology partnerships? Or I would say what mattered more. I'll say technology and partnerships, right? Because regulation, obviously, but when it comes to like digital products, we're thinking about it, no borders, anybody from anywhere can access it. However, when it comes to like skill, if your technology is not strong, it will break, right? So we had to tighten that. Also, to be able to go beyond what maybe people discovering us through social media or through maybe SE like search and all of that, we need to like go deeper and put like more intention behind the expansion. Partnerships comes to play. And we've been very lucky to have partnered with some of like the best companies around the world who have been very kind or benevolent. I mean, obviously it's a partnership though, so it's a win-win for both parties. But I know that these partnerships have helped us to, scale through to different places and different regions. So I would say technology partnerships, and obviously when you're thinking about regulation, you're thinking about if there's a specific compliance maybe requirements that we need to consider, we will definitely consider them. For founders in the room looking to export digital services in the next 6 months, what's the single most important readiness step they should take now? I would say just that, right? What we've learned with AltSchool is that perfection does not help anybody, because if you're saying you want to create there's no such thing as a perfect product, right? It's just ensuring that your technology is solid, it doesn't break. So when you have like an influx of people, so I would say build your like a good. So to answer your question, the single most important readiness step is to build a product that can stick, that can scale, and then just push it put it out there. Don't worry about perfection. Obviously, you have to also consider like experience for your customer. I would say that might be like the second thing I would say. So building a product and then your customer experience, because what we've learned so far, a very, very important lesson that we've learned at AltSchool is learner experience or user experience or customer experience. Because when somebody has a good experience, they'll tell someone else. And when someone else comes to you and you give them a good experience, they'll tell someone else. And then you always have like people coming to you. And the reverse is the case too, if they have a bad experience, right? They will tell someone, oh, those people. So you have to care about like the product and then the experience. Those two things are very important. And we learned it very, very, in a very, very hard way. How did you build trust with learners and partners in new markets where school was not known yet? I think a lot of the things that we did was around the truth is that when it came to like putting things out there and all of that, our biggest market is still Nigeria. But because we've been able to build the world is now a global village when you think about it. Everybody's on social media, right? So imagine if somebody's scrolling through social media and they see someone say, oh, I started AltSchool and I did and I was able to secure a job. That's like a good outcome for someone in Nairobi to say, oh, okay, maybe I should try this as well. So we've tried our best. I mean, it's still a work in progress to put like some of our best stories out there, right? Our testimonials, everything. Like it's just those things are better than you spending a lot of money on marketing, right? If somebody who has used your products is going out there to say, oh, this is the best thing I've used, or oh, I had a good experience, oh, this thing changed my life. And so that's how we've generally been able to build trust. Also through our partnerships. So imagine if we partnered with the federal ministry through the 3MTT program, that gives us some form of credibility. Also partnering with big companies like Binance or Bybit or the UK Tech Hub, like all of our partnerships really, because people know some of these brands or most of these brands that we've worked with, and they just by that association, we also get that credibility and trust. How did you handle payments collection from NAS across multiple, and what challenges surprised you the most? I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question about payments, but I would say that what we did, like I mentioned, was partnerships with a platform called Start Button. So Start Button is like Paystack or Flutterwave, if you will, like payments company essentially. I know they have like maybe Paystack or Flutterwave as like an infrastructure beneath that. But what they do is that they help you collect payments in multiple currencies. So that was how we were able to like solve the problem of collecting payments across different markets. So if you go on our platform now and you want to pay, it gives you like a list of available currencies. So wherever you are, if you're in South Africa or Ghana or Nairobi or in Kenya, or like different currencies are there. So you just select the one that you want and you go and access the platform. I mean, proceed to pay and then access the learning. I think that's the last question. I don't know if anybody has any other question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Titi. This is very, very unraveling. Thank you for being able to sit in for Mr. Adewale in a very short notice. That's the reality of life. Sometimes you propose and things just pop up. Thank you very much. Now, before we wrap up, I want to sincerely thank everyone for staying with us today and to apologize for the brief technical glitches we experienced during this session. We truly appreciate your patience and engagement. Your presence reflects how important this conversation is for African digital future. What today's session has shown very clear is that AfCFTA works best when policy, infrastructure, and execution are understood together. Policy sets the rules, infrastructure removes the friction, and real businesses like AltSchool that we just heard from prove that exporting digital services across Africa is not just possible, but already happening. And this is only the beginning. Don't miss the next step in this journey. We are going to have session 2 of the AfCFTA Go webinar series taking place on Friday, 23rd January 2026 at 11 a.m. And we'll be diving deeper into digital public infrastructure and how it serves as a launchpad for market entry across African markets. Please make sure you register so you receive notifications and real-time access link, not just for session 2, but for the full series, which entails session 3, 4, 5, and 6. Together, we are not just talking about Africa's single market. We are learning how to unlock it practically and collaboratively. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session. Thank you, Titi. Thank you, everybody.